Hey guys, let's take a look at some charts here. We've looked at Bitcoin a lot, went over it. I think there's lots of data supporting that we are building a bottom here. Can it go down a little bit more? Sure, we can get weekly wicks down on really bad news. I have a few buy orders in at 57.5 and 55.5 just in case we do get a wick. But I think I could be wrong, right? I don't know. I'm not from the future, but to me, it looks like there are enough indicators stacking up that show us that we're in a bottom range. Whether we dip a little bit deeper than our current low, then maybe that happens. But I'm accumulating, and I have been accumulating, and I have buy orders in for Bitcoin. Okay. So, been over that many times. Let's take a look and see some uh, other cryptos. So, I had somebody ask me about FET and what FET looks like currently, and I spent some time going over the chart. It's a little busy here. Let me just clean up and focus in on the chart first. And where we are right now, you can look back. There's a lot of support built up over 6, 7 years of data since FET came out um, over the chart history. And we have recently been putting in a little bit more here. It broke down. We're currently at the same spot as we were previously here. In this somewhat poked out a little bit, poked out a little bit. This was that October flush. Somewhat of a descending parallel channel. We didn't quite make it up at the top here. So this is what I am looking for right now. We could break this and make it back down to the bottom section here of where we landed in February and test those lows again. There is some support here. Um, this is kind of the same support here. But to help me make my decision on what I want to do with FET, I'm pulling up some of the higher time frames because these are important. The higher time frames influence how the lower frames operate, and you can see that stochastics RSI is starting to roll over. Um, BTZ score is still high, hasn't triggered, hasn't made it down to the bottom range yet. Um, the the RSI itself is pretty low, but we've been hanging out here. Right now it's at 40, could get down to 30, right? But it's done this before and it's hung out down here before while the rest of these indicators just kind of take their time and play out. For example, if you take a look at some when we were this high on the stochastics and still low over here on the RSI, stochastics rolled over, took some time to play out, and you can see exactly what happened here. Same. Still pretty low, similar range of where we are with the RSI. Stochastics rolled over, and so did price. So this was one of the coins that did pretty well compared to the rest of the market because it's AI since February. You can see that it had a decent run, up 100%. So it's just going to take a little bit of time, I think, to cool back off. Um, maybe this is a good time to buy. Maybe it's working some sort of inverted head and shoulders here. It's not very pretty, right? Maybe it does something like that. It's pretty messy. Um, but I think there are better, safer options out there at this point. Um, so personally, I'm not doing anything with FET, even though it looks like it's at some really strong support. Higher level or higher time frame indicators show that there's still some cooling off that has to happen. So if I miss it, I miss it, but I'm not confident. There's some lower time frames that look all right, so maybe it does get a little bit of a move. Like here's stochastics. It's low, it's rolled over, but that can flip back up pretty quickly. Um, we're about to on the BDZ score. It's getting close to crossing and printing a green dollar sign, but lower time frames they print more green dollar signs, while the higher time frames take time to work out. So again, maybe there's a short term move here where it bounces off this median and gets a little bit of a move up to. You can see there's lots of resistance here. So maybe it has a little bit of a move. Well, that's a decent move for a trade actually. If it does get a 30% move, I wouldn't put that in there. Actually, I play it a little safer. Come down to the bottom here, and that's about a 15. I'd call it maybe 20 or so percent move, but I tend to play it a little bit more conservative. I try to lock it in at 15 if I was looking for this move on the daily. Let's see what it is on the 4 hour. 4 hours looking pretty good. 4 hours looking pretty good. All right. So maybe if I wanted to do a short term trade, maybe FET isn't looking too bad for short term trade. But like I said, that higher time frame can spoil it pretty quickly. So I would be using a trailing stop loss and accepting if I made anything, right? And it's just not a high confidence trade. This current setup. Let me see here. Just take 1 second. If I can put a little bit of a trend line here. So maybe I would put in a buy order to see if I can squeeze as much out of it as possible down here at yeah, at about 18 cents, maybe 18.1. See if I can get a little bit more out of it, and then I'd put in my trailing stop loss to kind of top out over here at about 20%. That's what I would do if I was thinking about taking that trade for a possibly quick 20%. Again, stop losses to make sure that you're not blowing your money and losing it. Somebody in the FOMO chat asked me to take a look at virtuals. So I open up the virtuals chart, and it on a higher time frame is actually looking better than most. So shout out to Tristan for drawing my attention to this one. Look at this. This is a really nice bull pennant. Long time working at this. This has been going here for over 2 years. It's been working this bull pennant. So there's a good chance that if slash when this thing breaks out, it can rip. It can do well. So a few things. If you're looking for a trade, I would be a little patient because it could. Let's see here. It could come down another 10% to test this trend line um, as things play out on the lower time frames. If this is something that you want to build a position in, I think anywhere in this green zone is a strong buy for virtuals. You can see here, it doesn't trigger the green in the weekly. Let's go down. It's not a super old coin, so sometimes you need to go down a little bit on the time frame to get a better idea. Let's try the 4 day. 4 day triggered here. We got a few false triggers, and then it triggered here. Okay, and we're going to get another trigger, but right now it's pointed down, so it's probably gonna hit this target, I would guess, right? Again, I'm not from the future, so I can't tell you what to do. I don't know. Just looking at the charts here. Hmm. And then, uh, yeah, let's take a look at, yeah, so here it's pointing down, so it's a little bit of a bearish momentum, but we need some red to print, and then we need it to start to turn pink, and that's going to show us on a higher time frame um, where it's starting to look like a better entry. Right, you can see here it started to turn pink. We balanced out. we leveled out, and then we had a move. Now these look like little moves because we're on such a high time frame, but if you zoom in, these are strong moves. For example, um, from here to the top, that's 164%. Okay, even one of these smaller moves here, this is still a strong move. Like I won't even. Okay, let's go from. We're trying to get it as close to this trend line as possible. Let's say that you nailed the bottom trend line here, and you brought it up. That's 72%, right? So you had support. You have resistance built up here. Um, yeah, this one would have been a little. Maybe you're going to try to cash out when it hits the 20 moving average or on the 4 day. So maybe you're like, it usually goes back to the 20. So I'll cash out at the 20. You might do the same thing here. You might get down here and say, wherever the 20 looks like it's going to meet up somewhere around this resistance. If you're able to do that, time it down here, you can make a 30% trade on this one if you time that properly, get out at the 20. And if you're watching it on a smaller time frame also, you might want to keep an eye on when these trigger these the BDZ score triggers, and then match it up with your other indicator stack that you like to use. Um, let's see. Let's take a look at a couple other. See if we can find another one that looks like it looks decent on a higher time frame. We've been talking about it for a while, and it's hasn't done anything yet. I'm wondering. I think it's just a matter of time. Sui. It's oversold here. Yeah. Um, on the higher time frame, it doesn't look great. I'm being honest. Let's put on some trend lines here, see if there's anything that matches up. Not really. That doesn't look great either. It's disappointing. How far back does it go? Let's see here. It's not. Yeah. It looks good on the BDZ on the weekly. It has to find. We needed to find support here. Look at it's getting rejected and turning around. So it looks like it's probably going to have some more downside to it. Unfortunately. All right. So it's not the time for Sui. Let's take a look at some others here. Um, near Zcash Tau. Let's take a look at Tau because it hasn't been doing a lot. Like near Zcash hype, um, grass, even peak. They were moving. Right. This had a good move up to the top. Boom. Came back down. Sitting right now at the 20 moving average. I set an alert here on the what did I set it on? The daily or the weekly? The 3 day or the weekly? I can't remember. Let's see here. Hmm, 12 hour. Set it on the 12 hour. Okay. I should set one on a higher time frame. Anyways, these had big runs. Look at Peak had a big run from the bottom to the top. It went up 200%, 225%. Zcash, Hype. We've been looking at these and we've been following them on the way up and we've been taking profit on them. Um, but see, I took profit here on render. It's coming down. It's lower than when I last checked it. And this is where I'm watching. Render has a lot of support here, 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 and I'm watching it right now. If it gets down into the 125, 126 range, then I'll take an even closer look again, maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna set an alert here so that when it touches that, it reminds me to look at it again and see where we are here on some of my other indicators that I like to watch. But you can see here on render that this cayenne descending rectangle has been a really good buy opportunity when it poked down into here. Does it get back down there again? I don't know. Maybe. Um, but if this is something that you want to build a position on, I don't think that in around the 125 down to 115 is a bad place to start accumulating. And then if it gets a little bit of a dip down in here um, into this blue rectangle, then maybe there's another opportunity to build the bag a little bit more. Another if it goes down another 30% from where we're at now, that's a good buy level. But I think I'm going to start looking at it another 15% down or so. That's what I'm watching here for render. Tau, let's see here. Tau, similar, right? We have this descending parallel channel. We broke the median, and now we're heading to this cayenne rectangle. Let's see here. If another 20% or so, 25%, um, I think is a good place to put in some strong buys for Tau. That's what I'm watching. Um, so again, all these have some room to move down. So I'm not super excited about short-term trades uh, because any setup can just be pushed down by the heavy momentum from the higher time frame. Near again rolled over. It's down about 35% or so from its most recent peak a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago. Not ready for me yet. Even though, look, let's take a look. It's just so high on the BDZ score, it just triggered a sell. So that's not something that I'm super interested in. Maybe it gets a little bit of a bounce here on some support, but you can see over here it looks like it's doing something similar to this, right? Falling one bump, so top one, two, and then finished the consolidation. Top one, two. We'll see. This one here went a little bit higher, so just not super confident at these levels, even though I like near. Hype also, it's just too oversold for me. You can see where I had my sales. I've talked about it before. This one here, extremely excited about. I wish it was more. This was my heavier sale. I did 75% here and 25% here. But overall, I'm still doing well as far as my timing. Oops, as far as my timing went on this. I was getting some pushback on that sell, but that's okay. Not everybody can sell right here. There are plenty that I didn't sell, and Sui is one of them. I should have taken profits much earlier on Sui. I'm still holding it. Unfortunately, it's one of the only ones that I've actually held on to. That and Bitcoin. Let's see. Is there anything else that you guys are interested in? Let's take a look at BNB. How oversold are we here on BNB? On the weekly, um, just not quite there yet. Thought I was looking at it when we were here because it looked pretty good. It was starting to turn from red to pink. We got a signal. It moved a little bit, but it didn't trigger. So, uh, yeah, something like this. Still kind of maybe working our way, sitting at some heavy support right here. That is some pretty heavy support in this range. So, I don't know if you're somebody who wants to build up a BNB bag. What is this from here to the bottom? 12%. right? And it still has some room. Still has some room to come down here on the weekly. Look here, you can see that the momentum is starting to shift bearish. So I don't know. I'm looking around the $500 range probably for BNB at the next level to consider if that's something that you want to build a bag on. Soul looks interesting. Soul looks interesting. Let's see here. We have a lot of, s- not a lot, but some decent support here. All right, we can see a little bit here, not super strong, but we broke this. This was the stronger support. You can see this was the stronger support, and we broke that. Uh, yeah, this was the stronger support. We broke that, not this one, and now we're looking for some more support, possibly down here at the 45 or so dollar range, right? 45 to $50 range. That's what I'm looking at for Sol. It's looking pretty good on the higher time frame. Sol's an older one. So you can see it doesn't trigger too often, right? We had a trigger here, and then this is FTX, so a black swan. We might get a black swan. Can't count on those black swans. This is the range where the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, this is where they turned around and found a bottom when this triggered. If that would have happened, then this would have been a good area to DCA if there was no FTX collapse. DCA here, and then it rebounded really fast. DCA over here. That's not so bad, right? If you're DCAing and you're getting an average DCA on Sol last bear market at about $33, that's not so bad, right? 9x. That's not so bad. Almost a 9x. So if it's doing something similar, right? And then you have, or I have, or whoever has a DCA range, something like this, or have some here, and then you put some in down here, and you get your average pretty much where we're at right now. Um, that could end up being a solid DCA. Obviously, I don't know where this is going to be going in the future, but even if it makes it back to all-time highs, what is that from this average? Still almost a 5x. Not so bad for a play that's relatively safe compared to a lot of altcoins. Interesting. So yeah, if Sol is something that I want to load up on, I don't hate where it is right now. It could go lower. A lot of people are going to try to time everything, time it. Oh, it's going to go lower. Bitcoin's going to go to 30K, 35K, 40K. Maybe. I don't see it, but that doesn't mean that I'm automatically right. And since I don't know, I'm going to start DCAing the areas where it's historically been a good bottom range. Every time that we got into the cost of production ribbon, it's been a good time. Like even up here, this is a good time to buy. Cost of production, boom, went up. Cost of production, just almost tagged it here, in, left it, tagged it here. All these times, the 200-day moving average, 200-week moving average. These are all good. Even if you bought it here, yes, it went lower. Again, FTX. Yes, it went lower. But if you bought here, you bought this range here, 20 from 22,000 down to the ribbon down to 15, 16,000, up to 26,000. If you bought this range and you ended up with an average of $22,000 for your Bitcoin, you're laughing. You're laughing. Of course. And then it went up and did about a 5x from that 24,000, 22,000, right? Depending on where you got in at 20,000, you did a 6x on Bitcoin just from buying these ranges, DCAing these ranges. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. We looked at a few coins. If there are any coins that you want to take a look at next video, let me know in the Alpha Factory or the FOMO Factory Telegram. We can take a look. Um, just a quick recap. Virtuals looks pretty good, almost ready for a trade, but in a good spot if you're looking to hold it long term, in my opinion. It's in a pretty good spot. Oh, where were we here? Virtuals is on this one, I believe. I have it charted out over here. Let's see. Oh, hype. We got an alert. I'll take a look at that. Let's look at it right now and see what's going on over here on hype. What is it on? Cross. Oh, it's on the daily. Okay, so there's still a lot of room for hype to come down on the weekly. Yes, it's it's a new coin, so you tend to want to go down a little bit. Um, yeah. So the 3 day is still extended. The daily triggered, right? It's been bouncing here on the 3 day moving average pretty consistently ever since this pump began. And looking down here on the daily, oh, it said the daily triggered. Oh, because I had it just set for touching it. Okay. So one to watch for, I guess, maybe like this is a pretty strong trend line right here. But then again, it looks like a little bit of a head and shoulders. Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it. If it goes and I miss it, that's fine. There are a million coins out there, but it looks like it could be bouncing here or breaking back in. I'm gonna watch it and see. I'm not doing anything with hype because this move was crazy and it's still really extended on the higher time frames. The weekly, the 3 day. Oh, yeah, look how extended it is here. It's just too much. Let's pull up a couple other indicators. Let's go with, oops, let's go with the RSI and stochastics. Getting a little bit lower, still high here on the RSI. Stochastics is getting a little bit lower. This one here, yeah, MACD does not look good. I just don't trust it, so I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do anything, even though it looks good on the daily. The higher time frames is just putting too much pressure. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think, what you're watching. Do the YouTube thing. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't. Head over to the Alpha Factory. Uh, Great community over there if you're not in there already. All right, guys. Talk soon.